This is a presentation of a youth pre-symposium that took place on the 5th of December to the 7th of December 2014.
Hello Africa, my name is Bolivia Jeremiah. I'm from Botswana. I'm a youth advocate on adolescent sexual and reproductive health and rights, and I've worked with a couple of organizations such as the Botswana Family Welfare Association, UNESCO, UNAIDS and UNFPA. And I'm happy to be in Zambia attending a youth symposium themed addressing adolescent sexual and reproductive health and rights information and services. Time to act now. I'm just gonna share with you my experience here during the conference. Day one was amazing. I mean, we had a good opening from the Deputy Minister of Sports and Youth Development.
The government has introduced sexual and reproductive health information in the primary school educational curriculum to ensure that young people are fully aware of their sexual and reproductive health rights and the existing options. These efforts have greatly contributed to the current report produced by the World Health Organization, which shows that new HIV infection rate in Zambia have dropped drastically by almost 41%.
And a presentation that was actually eye-catching was done by a representative from UNFPA who presented on youth as a bulge for the demographic dividend. And she actually gave us a presentation which was very visual and emphasized the point that young people or the population structure can actually be an amazing point to reach the demographic dividend, as well as ensuring economic benefits, social and health benefits, or securing that the environment is conducive to actually reach that demographic dividend. Day two was an amazing day as well. We saw a lot of young people participate in social media, tweeting and letting other young people across the world know what's happening. But what was most interesting was the fact that we opened the day talking about sex. Who wouldn't want to talk about sex? But the issue was not just on the activity, but relating sex to comprehensive sexuality education. Surprisingly, a lot of young people came up with so many sexual practices that they were familiar with. Some of the times they were involved in.
Yeah, penetrating.
Okay, yeah. Masturbation, you can penetrate yourself, kissing, penetrating each other's mouth, holding hands. Okay, nibbling, you could also be penetrating. Okay, so nibbling underline.
We had so many sexual behaviors to talk about, I can see, and lots of debates and discussions. Yeah, we want to hear about that. So let's come together so we can discuss in plenary.
Hacking, letter writing, sexual sexting, like WhatsApp, sending sexual texts, touching, caressing, giving flowers, dressing sexy like what the ladies do, but this is not safe in Kenya. Flirting, feasting.
UNFPA and UNICEF reiterated the need to scale up investment in adolescent sexual and reproductive health information services.
The substance is very clear. You've asked for equitable access to sexual and reproductive health for young people, especially the most vulnerable. You've included, I think, which is very exciting, HPV vaccines. So you've broadened what you're asking for in terms of services. I think that's excellent. I know you've had chances to talk about youth-friendly delivery and how that works. You've called for comprehensive sexuality education. That's perfect, and I think it's important that we need to be able to move on that agenda, both for youth in school and out of school. You've called for HIV prevention. You've called for treatment of those who are living with HIV. You've called for the integration of that within school curriculum. You've called for the integration within services. You've talked about TB. You've talked about drug abuse. That's excellent.
UNICEF co-convenes with UNFPA amongst the UN system on adolescents and young people. UNICEF has a focus on the adolescent age group because it's in line with our children's rights mandate. For us, there's really two areas of work that are very important. One is to prevent new infections amongst adolescents, which basically means if they're not sexually active, to help them to delay being sexually active, and once they become sexually active, that they have the knowledge and skills to be able to practice risk reduction behaviors. Go for male circumcision, use condoms consistently, and when condom use is inconsistent, go for an HIV test. In addition, there are adolescents who are HIV positive. Some of them because through vertical infection, from mother to child, and there are long-term survivors who are on treatment, and we need to help them stay on treatment. We need to help them have a regular life and be able to live positively with their HIV. And then there are some adolescents who are becoming infected through sexual behavior. So helping them access testing, finding out their status, and getting them into care, maintaining them in care, and getting them into treatment are very, very important things for UNICEF.
Day 3 was yet another exciting day with a lot of young people feeling fatigued. But I guess if you don't work hard, then you wouldn't feel fatigued. So it was a good feeling. However, the emphasis was on social media, and it was important that we utilize social media as well as technology to pass the information. For example, there was emphasis on mHealth, which is mobile health, use of cell phones, text messaging to communicate to young people, e-health, using websites, using online material to communicate to people across the world. And this was interesting, and young people did indeed do their work and participated. I was one of the young people who tweeted, and you can follow me at Bolivia to Bolivia. Thank you.
Well, to the African youth, this has been great, and I think one of the things we really want you to do is through your collective and very powerful voices, and through your really determined actions, that really as we approach the Sustainable Development Goals, that you can really ensure that this young people's issues are integrated into that, and that really that you can be the ones pushing for the action. And you must, because the future depends on this. The future depends on it. Your generation depends on it. Those who are most vulnerable need to have your voices heard. You need to have that goal.